What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our bets for Week 15 in the NFL. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. All right, Nick, Week 15 is here and we have some great games to get to, some really big bets ahead of us, and starting off with the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the beleaguered Cleveland Browns with everybody seemingly on the COVID-19 reserve list. Nick, what do you see from this game? Which bet is the best one to take?
Yeah, as you said, the Cleveland Browns are going through it right now. A ton of players have been added to that COVID-19 list, and we don't know if they're going to be playing or not. The latest being Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski, their head coach. That'll be interesting to watch out for. But as we look at the betting line, we see that the Raiders are 1-point favorites with a 38.5-point over-under. And I believe that even though the Cleveland Browns are going through it now, they're dealing with injuries, the Las Vegas Raiders are just not playing well at all. They are giving up big play after big play, and as long as Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are available with this offensive line, I think that they can run away with it. Literally and figuratively, I believe that the Cleveland Browns have enough power on both sides of the ball to get the job done, because right now, there is nobody on the Las Vegas Raiders that is playing good. There's nobody that gives you the idea that they could put something together even against a beat-up Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to win, but I'm taking them at their money line.
Next up, we see the New England Patriots taking on the Indianapolis Colts on our Saturday night football game. The New England Patriots actually enter Lucas Oil Stadium as 2.5-point underdogs. Definitely something to look out there for, as most of America believes that the New England Patriots should be favored. So definitely a head scratcher there from Vegas, but as we've seen, Las Vegas tends to know what they're doing, and honestly, I'm kind of torn on this one. I picked the New England Patriots as my lock of the week. I'm not exactly sure that it's going to come down to the last possession. At the end of the day, I'm riding with the New England Patriots at plus 2.5. I think giving yourself some points in this game is really going to be beneficial. And with the New England Patriots, they tend to hold teams to their worst offensive outputs all season long. We've seen ups and downs, peaks and valleys from the Indianapolis Colts all season. I think this is going to be one of those valleys. I expect the Patriots to play lights out this week. Take the Patriots at plus 2.5.
And for our first Sunday football game, we have the Tennessee Titans taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Tennessee Titans are only 1.5-point favorites with a 41.5-point over-under. The Tennessee Titans have been getting better and better. As we saw last week, their defense put up a shutout against the Jacksonville Jaguars, not allowing a single point. And we saw the Pittsburgh Steelers give up a ton of yards, a ton of points against the Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be a similar game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, except in this one, they won't be able to come back. And with a 1.5-point spread, I'm taking the Tennessee Titans. I believe they'll blow them out of the water, but I will take them at that 1.5-point spread just to play a little bit safe.
Next up, we see the Washington football team head on down to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Washington without Taylor Heineke and most likely Terry McLaurin not looking too good, and Vegas believes that to be the case, as the Eagles are 7-point favorites in what should be the biggest margin that Vegas has for them all season long. At the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles are playing to take over Washington in that playoff race, and with Washington beleaguered with injuries, I believe that the Eagles have what it takes to not only beat the Washington football team, but to downright degrade them. I think the Eagles are going to have a massive victory. I'm taking the Eagles at -7.
Up next, we have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Detroit Lions. The Cardinals come in at 12.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47.5 points. The Detroit Lions have obviously been struggling a lot this season, and now we don't even know if DeAndre Swift will be making his return. And also with TJ Hawkinson, will he play, will he not? That is up in the air as well. I know for a fact the Arizona Cardinals will come out on top. And I kind of want to take the under on this matchup, but if both of those players, if Swift and Hawkinson play, I'm going to play a little bit safe. I'll take them at that 12.5 point spread. I'll take the Cardinals at their 12.5 point spread.
Next up, we see the Carolina Panthers head up to blistery Buffalo, taking on the Bills. The Bills coming off of 2 massive defeats against the Patriots and the Buccaneers. This is crunch time. This is the time where the Bills have to go. I think everybody sees the lights are flashing, the buzzers are going off. The Bills have to get going, and this is the perfect game with Cam Newton, PJ Walker, Sam Darnold, or Jesus himself under center. I don't think it's going to matter. The Carolina Panthers are not going to be able to put up points on this defense. They are finally fully healthy. We saw Tremaine Edmonds, we saw Star Lotulelei really clogging up the middle of this defense and really making it difficult for both of those teams they lost to. Nonetheless, I don't see a lot of running room for either Chuba Hubbard or Amir Abdullah. At the end of the day, the Buffalo Bills are 11-point favorites. I'm going to take them at 11 points. I don't see the Panthers scoring much more than 3 points this entire day.
Next up, we have the Houston Texans taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both teams obviously not having great seasons. As I said, the Jacksonville Jaguars didn't put up a single point last week, and the Houston Texans had an abysmal game against the Seattle Seahawks, which isn't the best competition to begin with. This is not going to be a good game. I don't believe it'll be high scoring, and I think it will be fairly close with these two teams knowing each other fairly well. When we take a look at the betting line, we see that the Jacksonville Jaguars are 4-point favorites with a 39.5 point over under. To me, this isn't going to be more than a 3-point game, and I think that the Houston Texans even have a shot to possibly win it with how bad these teams are playing. You just don't know, and I'm going to be taking the Houston Texans at their +4. I don't think it'll be more than a 3-point game at best, and the Houston Texans definitely have a shot to win it.
Next up, we see the Dallas Cowboys head on over to East Rutherford, taking on the New York Giants. The Cowboys, the Giants, they don't like each other, and they make it very well known. But the problem is it Daniel Jones? Is it Mike Glennon? Is it someone else that they might have brought in? Who the hell knows? At the end of the day, the Cowboys are the team that you can trust. This defense has come back fully healthy, and Micah Parsons looks like not only the Defensive Rookie of the Year, but a candidate for the Defensive Player of the Year. This guy is playing lights out, absolutely phenomenal, and there's not much more they can ask of him. They have Micah Parsons. They have DeMarcus Lawrence. They got Randy Gregory back. Now let's see if Trayvon Diggs can pick up where he left off a few weeks ago. Let's see what this defense can continue to do against this terrible offense that the Giants have. And on top of that, the Cowboys offense, they got to start getting going. This is the time where they need to start ramping it up and getting ready for the playoffs. I think the Cowboys are going to use this as a motivational tool, a launching point, if you will, to get their team ready for the playoffs. I'm taking the Cowboys at -11.
And up next, we have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers coming in at 9.5-point favorites with a 46-point over-under. And as you said, there are some teams competing for the playoffs, some teams not. Well, the Atlanta Falcons, they were at one point, but they're not anymore. But the 49ers have surged lately, and they're still on track to possibly make the playoffs. They need to get every single win that they can, and this is a must-win for them. They are going to play their hearts out. They're at home, and I believe that they're going to run away with this one. 9.5 points seems a little bit steep. I don't know if they can handle that big of a task, but I will take them at their money line. I believe that the 49ers have an easy road to victory on Sunday.
Next up, we see the New York Jets head on down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. The Jets are going to benefit a little bit as they get to play in some warmth in Miami rather than the cold of New Jersey, but nonetheless, these two teams are headed in very different directions. The Jets, the most often injured team this season. The Miami Dolphins trying to get in position to make the playoffs. Really a lot of things going well for them right now, but at the end of the day, the thing that's going to hurt them the most, no running backs. All of the running backs for the Miami Dolphins are currently out on the COVID-19 reserve list, and that's going to halt me from taking them at the -10. I like this game a lot, but I'm going to take the under at the 42.5. I believe that the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets are not going to be able to score a ton of points in this one. I'm going to take the under. I think that's the safest bet here.
Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Denver Broncos. The Broncos coming in 2.5-point favorites with a 44.5-point over-under. Denver Broncos, they're still in it. Somehow they're still in it, and they're still fighting for that playoff spot. The Cincinnati Bengals are looking to take over the division, but they've dropped 2 straight, and all they need is one win. And this is the week that they could do it. Being in Denver at that high altitude, it's going to be tough. Joe Burrow dealing with those injuries. They've had their struggles, and the Denver Broncos defense, they have some guys. I think they're going to be able to get the job done. The Denver Broncos offense has a nice running game working for them right now, and I think that they're going to continue to put together against the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take the Broncos at their money line, as I think it's going to be a really close game.
Next up, we see the Seattle Seahawks taking on the red-hot Los Angeles Rams. The Rams coming off of that massive victory against the Arizona Cardinals, and the Seahawks coming off of that dominant victory over the Houston Texans. So not as impressive as a win, but nonetheless, both teams coming off of wins, and the Los Angeles Rams are dealing with a ton of issues, especially as it relates to COVID-19. I know you guys are sick and tired of hearing it just as well as we are, but at the end of the day, 16 players for the Rams at the time of this recording are currently on the COVID-19 reserve list for the Rams, and that's got to be taken into account. I'm going to take the Rams, but it's going to be at their money line. I don't trust any other numbers outside of that. I think that the Rams are a much better team than the Seattle Seahawks, and they're going to be able to prove that no matter who's on the field, especially if they continue to have Matthew Stafford and Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. But nonetheless, I think the route you have to go is money line for the Rams.
And for our final 4 o'clock game, the Green Bay Packers are taking on the Baltimore Ravens. The Green Bay Packers come in at 5-point favorites with a 43.5-point over-under. The Green Bay Packers being the newly cemented number 1 seed in the NFC, they're looking to hold on to that, and they've got the talent to do so. The Baltimore Ravens, with all their injuries, they don't. And it's going to be a tough battle for them, which means I'm taking the Green Bay Packers at their -5 spread. This is my lock of the week. It doesn't get any easier than this. The Green Bay Packers have a cakewalk to victory, and I'm taking them at that 5-point spread.
For our Sunday night football matchup, we see the New Orleans Saints head on down to Tampa, taking on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And the Tom Brady is still playing at an elite level, and I really never thought I'd say it at 44 years old. But at the end of the day, this man cannot be stopped, and his mentality is to keep on winning and to challenge Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers for that number 1 seed. The Buccaneers are looking to keep pace with the Packers so far, and I think they're going to be able to do it. I'm taking the Buccaneers at their money line. That is my lock of the week this week. I believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to outclass and outwill the New Orleans Saints in every way, shape, and form.
Finally, for our Monday night game, we have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears. The Minnesota Vikings coming in at 3.5-point favorites with a 44-point over-under. The Minnesota Vikings looked incredible on that Thursday night victory, except in the second half when their defense got absolutely gashed. When you look at the Chicago Bears, they've been throwing that deep ball a lot, which is going to really test the secondary, and I think this is going to be a closer game than a lot of people expect. It's a divisional game, and you know this is a very close battle between the two. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings to slightly edge out the Bears just because of their talent. Jay Jettas, you got Dalvin Cook. I just think that they're going to be able to get the job done. I'm going to be taking them at their money line. It's going to be close.
We see a lot of great games and a lot of close games all throughout this schedule, even taking a look at some of the better games in the NFL that we have this weekend. At the end of the day, I want to hear from you guys, so let us know in the comments down below what games you're most looking forward to betting on, which ones you think are going to be heavily favored, and which bets we should think about switching ours to. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.